Did you know the choices you make could drastically impact the amount of money you get in your Social Security check each month? Today, we're going to look at an example of someone who took their benefit where it could have been over $2,800 a month, but it went all the way to nothing at all. That's right, zero. I'm going to show you the critical mistakes you could make to slash your benefit, and then I'll show you the smart moves you can make to maximize the amount you get each month. Hi, I'm Erica Smiley. I'm one of the lead educators here at MedicareSchool.com. And in this video today, we're going to review how they calculate your Social Security benefit. We'll also look at why your full retirement age matters and the different amounts you could get if you take early, if you wait till your full retirement age, or if you wait till you're older. And then we're going to talk about a critical mistake you could make that could slash your benefit down to nothing. So stick around and we'll learn a lot about Social Security today. So first of all, what is Social Security? Well, Social Security is a federal program in the United States that's going to give income and support to certain groups of people. So those groups are retirees, people who are no longer working and retiring. Also groups of people who are disabled, they have a disability where they can no longer work. Then we have survivors. This could be a spouse or a widow, widower, children, or dependents of someone who has passed away. And then we also have dependents. This may be other family members who qualify. So these are the groups of people who could get Social Security. So today we're really going to focus on retirees, people who are drawing Social Security through retirement. Now, a very high-level look at how they calculate your Social Security, it kind of goes like this. So they're going to look at your lifetime earnings. So your lifetime earnings are the top 35 years of income. Now keep in mind, to qualify for Social Security, you had to have paid in through FICA taxes for either 40 quarters or 10 years, okay? So the qualification for this is just like with Medicare. You have to have your 40 quarters or 10 years. If you don't have your own, you can also get that from a spouse. There's certain rules around that, but you can draw those 40 quarters or 10 years from a spouse or an ex-spouse. So what they're going to do to figure out what your monthly amount would be is calculate your lifetime earnings, which is the top 35 years of your income. Now, if you've not worked for 35 years, you might have some zeros in there, okay? But they're going to take this 35 years and they're going to come up with an average of it. And so this is called your AIM, or your average indexed monthly earnings, okay? So they're going to add up these 35 years. They're going to index those to kind of make up for inflation and things like that. And they're going to take the average. That's going to be your AIM. And then they're going to apply what are called bend points to this AIM. And through those bend points, they're going to come up with your primary insurance amount. So we see the PIA, that's your primary insurance amount. And what your primary insurance amount is, that's the amount you would get your full benefit if you wait to take Social Security at your full retirement age. So that's the general overview of how they calculate your Social Security, but let's put some numbers to this. So today we're going to use a gentleman called Medicare Mike. We're going to call him Medicare Mike. Mike is super happy. He's retired and he's looking at when he should take Social Security, or he's thinking about it, right? He's getting close to that age. 62 years old is when you can first start taking Social Security. But of course, if you wait to your full retirement age, you get a higher amount. And if you grow it till age 70, you get even more. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at Mike and see examples of what he would get for Social Security if he took it 62 versus full retirement age versus 70, and what's a critical mistake he could make where his check could be absolutely nothing, zero. So first of all, let's see how we would calculate his amount, okay? So let's say we took his 35 years, top 35 years of earnings to come up with his lifetime earnings. So we figured this out. His lifetime earnings are $2,100,000, okay? So $2.1 million is what his lifetime earnings is. So we need to make sure we come up with his AIM. So they're going to divide this 2.1 million by 420 months, because 420 months is 35 years. And we want to find out the average indexed monthly earning amount, okay? So doing that math, 2.1 million divided by 420 is going to give us $5,000, okay? So we have That AIM, his average indexed monthly earnings, is $5,000. But that's not his Social Security amount because we have to apply what's called bend points. Now with these bend points, there's 3 different bend points that they will apply. The first one is 90%. So this is all of the money up till $1,226. He is going to get 90% of that amount. So let's take 90% of 1226 is 1103.40. So that's our first bend point. First bend point is $1,103.40. Now we're going to apply the second bend point. So the second bend point is 32%. So pretty much we're going to take everything from that 1226 that he has earned, that Mike's earned, up to $7,391. He would get 32% of that. But here's the deal. Mike's AIM is $5,000. He doesn't go that high. So we need to calculate what's the difference between this $1,226 and $5,000. So when you do the math on that, the second bend point would be applied 32% of $3,774. And that brings us with his second bend point amount, which is $1,207.68. Now we go to the third bend point, and the third bend point is 15%. Now you're going to get 15% of everything you made over $7,391. Well, in Mike's case, his average index monthly earnings is $5,000, so he didn't make that much. So his third bend point is going to be $0 because he never made it over that $7,300 mark, right? So $0 is his third bend point. So how they calculate the primary insurance amount, or what his benefit would be, is we're now going to take these 3 bend points and add them together. So we've got Mike's first bend point was 1103.40. We're going to add that to the second bend point, which was $1,207.68. And then we will add the third bend point, which is $0. And that's going to give us his benefit amount, which is $2,311.08. Now keep in mind, this is the primary insurance amount, and this is what Mike's benefit would be if he waited till his full retirement age to take Social Security. Okay, so moving forward in this example, we're going to drop the 8 cents to give this a nice well-rounded number of $23.11 each month that he could possibly get at his full retirement age. Hey, if you found this video helpful, do us a favor. Go give us a like. We always appreciate it. And subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those future videos. And leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We love to answer any questions you have. That's what it's here for. So drop us a comment below. Okay, so we've calculated now. We know that his primary insurance amount, the amount he would get at his full retirement age, would be $2,311 a month. But what is Mike's full retirement age? Well, let's take a look at a chart of how we figure that out. So his date of birth is September 5th, 1963. So that would make Mike right now 62 years old. And he's just retired. He decided, hey, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna probably start taking Social Security. I don't know, I'm trying to figure this out, right? So let's look at what his full retirement age would be. Now this is important because that's when you're going to get the full amount. So for him to get $2,311 a month, he would have to wait to his full retirement age. But he can take as early as age 62, which is right now, but he's going to get less money. So we got to figure out his full retirement age. And here's how that works. Anyone born in 1954 or before that is going to have a full retirement age of 66 years old. But this is how we calculate that if you're born after 1954. If you're born in 1955 or the years after, they start to add 2 months each year in increments. So if you're born in 1955, your full retirement age is age 66 plus 2 months. 1956, it's going to be 66 plus 4 months. 1957, it would be 66 plus 6 months. 1958, it'd be 66 plus 8 months. 1959, 66 and 10 months. And if you're born in 1960 or later, right now your full retirement age is going to be 67 years old. So Mike's full retirement age is 67 years old. And that's where he would have to hit to get that full $2,311 per month. But let's take a look at how it's going to impact his check if he decides to take early. Okay, so let's look at what if Mike decides he's going to start taking Social Security at age 62. How is that going to impact his monthly benefit? Well, we figured out if he waits till his full retirement age of 67, he'd get $2,311 a month. But what Mike didn't know is every year you take early, they're going to take and reduce your benefit by 6% per year. It's pretty much 0.5% every month, and for 12 months, 6% per year. So if he decides to take at age 62, he would be taking 5 years early, okay? So 5 years early at 6% each year, he's going to get his benefit reduced by 30%. So we'll look at this. We take 30% of $2,311, and that's going to reduce his monthly check by $693.30 a month. So if we take that amount from his $2,311, that's going to give him a check if he takes at age 62 of only $1,617.70 compared to the $2,311 he could have got if he waited. Now, we already know that he would get $2,311 if he would hold out those 5 years. He'd be getting almost $700 more a month if he waited until age 67. But let's see what happens if he waits even longer to the max age of 70 to grow his benefit. What would that look like? All right, well, let's look at what Mike could gain if he holds out not only till his full retirement age, but past that. You can actually grow your benefit if you wait past your full retirement age, and you can grow that 8% per year. So since his full retirement age is 67, you can grow that to a max age of age 70. You can't grow it any more past then. So the latest you want to take is age 70. So from age 67, his full retirement age, to age 70, that would be 24% increase of his monthly amount, since it's 8% per year for 3 years. So we'll take his primary insurance amount, which is $2,311, times 24%, and that will give him an extra $554.68 a month. So we take that, we add it together. If Mike waits until he's 70 years old, he would grow that benefit to $2,865.64 instead of the $2,311. Okay, so now we know the different monthly amounts that Mike would get in his check if he took it 62, 67, or 70. We know that he'd get $1,617 per month if he took it 62. He'd get $2,311 if he took it age 67, and he would get $2,865 if he took it age 70 and he held out. But what does this mean big picture? How much is he really going to lose out if he takes it age 62 versus waiting till age 70? Because a lot of times we do these videos on why you should take early, why you should wait till your full retirement age, or why you should hold out till age 70, and we get a ton of comments like, hey, there's no crystal ball. What if you die before you even reach the age of 70, right? I mean, you don't know how long you're going to live. But we're gonna look at Mike, and he has good genes. Both of his parents lived to be in their 90s, so we're gonna say, what if he lived to be 85 years old? Let's look at these different scenarios. So let's say Mike started taking it at age 62, he took early, he took the lower benefit amount, and he's gonna live to be 85 years old. Over the course of those years, which if we do it by months, that's 276 months he would be collecting a check, and he would get $1,617 a month. He would be pulling in $446,292 over the span of those years. Okay, so now let's look at if he took at age 67. If he took at age 67 and he lived to be 85 years old, that was actually 216 months that he would be living, right? So from 67 to 85, 216 months, and we know he's going to get $23.11 per month because he waited till his full retirement age. That would give Mike a total of $499,176 that he would get over the span of those years. Now, what if he held out to the max age of 70? So we know from 70 to 85, that's 15 years. That comes up to 180 months, and he's going to get $28.65 a month because he waited as long as he possibly could till age 70. So when we calculate that, Mike would get over those years $515,700. So now we can see the lifetime amount that Mike would get at 62 if we took at 67, or if he took at age 70 and he lived to 85 years old. So what's the difference? If we look at, man, he made the decision to take early. He took at 62 as early as he could. Or hey, he held out, he waited those extra years until 70 and grew it the most he could. For Mike, that difference would only be $69,408. Because yes, he's getting a lower amount here, but he started taking earlier. So he's collecting that money for years and years longer. And yes, when he's 70, he's getting the highest amount possible. But it's a lot less years that he's collecting money. That's less years that he's getting a Social Security check. So for this individual, if you look at this, he's only out less than 70 grand if he starts taking at 62 versus age 70. So we saw in this example, if Mike waits till the age 70, he could be getting over $2,800 a month in his check. If he starts taking to age 62, he could be getting as low as $1,617 $17 in each check. It's almost a $1,200 difference. So what could Mike possibly do that could mess this up, that could make his benefit amount zero? Well, it's something called the earnings test, and you need to know about it. It has to do with working while you're collecting Social Security. So Mike didn't know about this. Nobody told him about the earnings test. And he retired, left his job, turned 62 years old, and started taking Social Security. He decided to grab the money, 62, starts collecting the $1,617 a month in that check. Well, about 4 months in, he decides that he's bored. He doesn't like retirement, and he's going to go back to work. And he starts selling boats part-time at a boat dealership, but he's really good at it. So he's selling boats, right? So this thing called the earnings test, what is it, and how could it mess you up where you take your benefit from thousands of dollars to nothing? Well, the earnings test says that you cannot make over a certain income while you're collecting Social Security. And there's two earnings tests. There's the low earnings test and there's the high earnings test. So the low earning test would be for every year that you're not hitting your full retirement age, okay? So we know that he's 62 years old and his full retirement age was 67. So for the years he's 62, 63, 64, 65, and 66, for those 5 years, he will not be hitting his full retirement age those years. So he's not allowed to make over $23,400. And if he does, they're going to penalize him $1 for every $2 he makes over that amount. And they're going to deduct this from his check. Well, he didn't know this, and he's working at the boat dealership, and he's killing it. He's a really great part-time boat salesman, and he made $42,000 that year. So here's what's going to happen. We have to take that amount. He's not allowed to make over $23,400 in income. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't have to do with any retirement payments coming in or, anything like that. It has to do with just income made from a job. Okay, so it looks like Mike went over the amount he was allowed to make in the earnings test by $18,600. Well, he's going to get penalized $1 for every $2 he went over. So if we take that amount, divide it by 2, he is going to get penalized $9,300 that will be deducted from his checks. So, now we have a problem. Now the high earnings test would be the year you actually do hit your full retirement age. That's not a concern for him yet, but that would be the year he turns 67. He wouldn't be allowed to make more than $62,160 that year. But right now we're looking at this age. He was 62. He went back to work. He made too much money, and now he's going to get this penalty and a $9,300 deduction from his Social Security checks. So where Mike was collecting $1,617 a month, he now has a penalty of $9,800. They can't take that all out of one check, so they have to take away multiple future checks. For 5 checks, he would get $0 because he's got to pay back this amount that he went over, that he's getting fined for. And for that 6 months, his check would be $12.15, and then he'd finally get back up to where he would have his regular amount of $16.17 again. And this is how working and not knowing about the earnings test could take him from a best case scenario of choosing to wait till he was 70 to a worst case scenario, which was starting to take at age 62, still working part-time and making more money than the earnings test allows. And if you look at this in a year, let's say again the year he's 63, he keeps the job, he continues to work, and he makes the same amount, he's going to go from making about $19,404 in a calendar year with those checks to only making about $9,604 because he would be getting penalized. So this is a thing where you really have to be careful. If you start taking early, are you truly retired? Or are you still working and you're going to get penalized and your check deducted? You don't want to do this, so you have to be very careful and know those low earning test limits and the high earning test limits, and make sure you don't go over that amount in income. Now, the good thing to know is if Mike would have waited till his full retirement age, which is age 67, he would have got his full amount, that $23.11, and the earnings test goes away. So Mike could be collecting a bigger check each month at age 67, and he could go work at the boat dealership and sell as many boats as he wants, because it's no longer an issue with the earning test once you hit your FRA. So there's a lot of different decisions to make, and it's a very personal choice of if you want to take Social Security early, if you want to wait till your full retirement age, or if you want to wait till later. Now, I know a lot of men will say, hey, my wife is going to take spousal benefits from me or survivor benefits when I pass away or I die, so I want to keep growing my account until age 70 so she can have the max benefit possible. Other people say, well, hey, I don't know how long I'm going to live, or is Social Security even going to be around by the time I'm 70? I'm going to take it at 62 as soon as I can. So obviously, each person is different. I mean, do you need the money? If you have debt, if you still have a mortgage, if you're dipping into retirement accounts more than you need to, then by all means, maybe you should take early. If you're set and you're doing okay and you want to grow that amount, and your mom and dad live to be 80s or 90s, maybe you want to wait till you're 70. So hopefully this example kind of showed you the differences and what happens at the different stages, and can help you make decisions on when you want to start to draw Social Security.